Hey, hello my Poke people, and welcome one and all to Sun and Moon Hype and Theory. I am so pumped and proud to share with you what I have to share today, and that is the final typings of our starters once they're fully evolved, the animals that they are based on, and using that, a likely final form that they will take when fully evolved. So let's get right down to it. So here we have the Japanese Sun and Moon website. There's nothing mind-blowing on it in terms of information. Everything we learn in the trailer is here. The only really extra tidbits are some neat little facts like their height and weight, some Pokédex-esque information, nothing crazy. But what we do have are these little type blocks here. These that say for Rowlet, grass and flying. That makes sense, he's grass and flying. But what we can do is abuse a little bit of sloppy website design, at least sloppy when the goal is to prevent leaks and spoilers from getting out, because if we right click on these type blocks and open the actual image itself, so we are just physically looking at the type image, you can see in the top we have icon 01, so being the intrepid explorer of websites, it would make sense to then type icon 02, which we then get the flying, so icon 1 and 2, Rowlet's grass and flying. So what perhaps happens if we go on icon 03? Well, look at this. This right here is ground. And that's not any of the basic starter types now, is it? So I wonder who ground belongs to. Well, we go icon 04 and we found Litten's fire. So Litten is fire ground? I mean, it's pretty compelling evidence to suggest that. So obviously we keep going towards Poplio and we get the water here. That makes sense, we know it's water. But what about icon 6? What about Poplio's final typing? Well, this is fighting right here. So if the order is correct, we have grass flying, fire ground, and water fighting. Now, the only thing that might not be correct here is the order, so it could be fire fighting, please not, and water ground, but what I think we can say with 99.9% certainty is flying, ground, and fighting are the three extra types that our starters will be getting. So let's see if we can take this leaked evidence and do a little bit more research, apply it a little bit further, and get some better evidence as to which typing belongs to which Pokemon. So let's take our lovely owl Rowlet. Now, a lot of people were like, maybe this actually does turn out to be ground. I was one of them. Maybe it's based on the burrowing owl, but no. What I think this is based on is a lovely little owl known as the Ornamagallonyx, or the giant cursorial owl. This thing was about half as tall as your average adult man, and it had very, very powerful legs. It was also a largely flightless owl species. In fact, it was so big and so ground-based and used its legs to such deadly effect, initially when it was discovered, people thought it was a form of small terror bird. Throwback to my grass starter terror bird prediction, just saying. So what does this have to do with our adorable little Rowlet? Well, one of the big things about it is that it is very good with its legs and attacks with kicks. Which instantly reminds you of how I described our prehistoric owl. It's also, I mean, look at it. It does not look like it's built for silent predator flying. And while it does say it can fly silently, I think that's more just because, you know, technically this thing will be able to learn flying. It needs to be able to fly. But come on, Rowlet looks more suited for rolling down a hill than it does for flying above it. And then finally, its actual Japanese name is Mokoro, which is a combination of likely wood and owl. Now, wood, of course, can mean literally wood, but wood's also a name for a forest, and where did our prehistoric owl hunt and live? Well, in a forest, so I think it's pretty compelling, and I would bet money on it that this thing takes a large bit of inspiration from the Ornamagillonyx, and this also does support the theory that grass Pokemon are based on extinct prehistoric animals, just as a little bit of tangential evidence there. And when it's final evolved, it's still going to remain grounded, it's going to have very long, powerful looking legs, it's going to, well, very much look like a raptor fused with an owl, honestly. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think that it will be flying in its final form. You know how with flying Pokemon, they are literally flying in the battle screen? I think this will remain firmly planted on the ground, and its legs will be quite prominent. So that's what I've got for Rowlet, and honestly, I think it's very compelling. I'm very happy with it. Next up, we have Litten then, who, for the love of all that is holy, let's work with that Litten is the one that belongs to ground, because I don't think the world can quite handle another firefighting. And then let's see what we can do. Now, when you think of cats, of felines, you kinda don't really get, you know, a ground, a digging, a almost burrowing image, do you? But there is such a thing as a sand cat, and what this sand cat does is it lives in deserts, and honestly, it's the only species of cat that actually lives in true deserts, and it likes to take over the burrows of other animals, dig them out a little bit more, and then live there itself. So this is quite literally a little adorable burrowing into the ground cat. Now, it's easy to go, well, I mean, great, you found a species of cat that likes the ground. That doesn't mean Litten is ground, you know. But what do you notice? What is a prominent feature of Litten? The two red stripes on its front and back legs. And what is one of the most prominent features of every single sand cat that we can see? Two black stripes on either of its front legs. Surely that is not just a coincidence, because I mean the sand cat itself does look like Litten, the ear shape and the positioning. Hell, it's about the correct size of Litten. And while I've no doubt that Litten draws aspects from other animals, most Pokemons are a blend of various species, I think the sand cat makes up the largest portion of Litten. I mean, it's just perfect. It supports becoming a fire ground, it has distinct markings that it shares with Litten, and I just think that would be absolutely lovely. I really do. I, again, am absolutely convinced that our friend Litten here is largely based on the sand cat, and that its final form, it'll be fire ground, which kind of makes sense based on the volcanic activity that is in Hawaii. I mean, with 3 volcanoes, you could easily have a groundy, rocky fire cat. That would be badass. In terms of its final evolution, I mean, this one is difficult to kind of call, because obviously the sand cat looks like its first form, not its third form, but I mean, it's probably going to end up a kind of fire panther, isn't it? Maybe some actual rocky adornments will evolve onto it as it gains the typing, but even then I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't. I'm thinking that it might actually get black rocks as like plates on its fur to represent the oil that it can produce. That would be badass. So imagine a panther with red stripes and smooth, almost obsidian plates adorning its back. That is what I'm predicting for third form Litten, and that would be sweet. A fire ground flaming cat. That is a starter that I would definitely use. And then finally we have ourselves Poplio, who is hopefully, based on what we've learned, going to become a water fighting, which is actually really good. It's not a very commonly held typing, that's for sure, and this one is obviously based on a sea lion. You know, you don't really need to go any further than that, and you know, it makes sense. Sea lions are really good at close quarters hunting. They snake through the water really fast, slam into their penguin prey, bite the crap out of it, and it's all over in a second. They are very good at what they do, and one of the most skilled hunters on the planet, and that can definitely be represented by fighting. And the thing is, sea lions are, you know, performers. They've been taught tricks. They're generally okay with humans. They don't tend to attack them, so that makes sense for a Pokemon. And then it being based on a sea lion incorporates both the circus and fighting theme. I really don't think we need to go any further with Poplio. It's the most obvious one and easiest easiest to see. So obviously it's just going to evolve into a big, majestic, fearsome, but almost elegant looking sea lion. Whether it will keep the circus theme or not, I don't know. I imagine it will, but I'm hoping the frill will become actual water and not a part of its body, so it's got like a permanent swirl of water around its neck, almost like Froakies Bubbles. And yeah, it needs to look fierce and elegant in its final form to capture that sea lion look. But really, that's all there is to say about Populo. That one is very, very obvious. And yeah, there it is, guys. The typing for the final forms, the animals I think they're based on, and a kind of idea for their final look. What do you think? I personally think this is all very compelling, but I'd obviously love to hear your guys' opinion on the subject. Let me know. Share this with people. Get their opinion on it. I think I might be the first person to actually identify the real-life species counterparts of Rowlet and Litten. I don't know if I am. I don't go dredging through YouTube for other Poke Theory videos, but we'll see. We shall see. Either way, I'm proud to have made this theory, probably my favorite one that I've done. So let me know, and I'll see you next time. Subscribe for more. Oh, good boy.